Hey everybody, welcome to the Catch Up After College podcast. We may be post-graduation, but we're never post-education. I'm Isaiah Brown, your host. Thank you for tuning in today. And I didn't realize this before booking this guest, but it's Women's History Month, and I think that works out pretty well. And today we have the joyful, confident, passionate Jess Eva Allen here with us today. How's it going?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Cool. How's your Friday?
It's good. Yeah, I had an interview with someone in Berlin this morning and had some clients, and it's a good Friday. It's a good Friday.
Dang.
The sun's out.
That's true. You should change your name to Jess Eva Allen International now. Since you're all over
That's
the
right.
globe.
That's what I'm going for. Yeah.
It's going to be the fourth Jess Eva Allen page.
Yeah. I have a lot of pages. It's true.
It's all good. So we can find you everywhere. But I hear that you're a vocal teacher. Is that correct?
I am.
Mm-hmm. All right. I was wondering.
Yeah,
go for it.
Just entrepreneur, singer, songwriter, just multifaceted in different ways.
Okay, all the above. That's cool.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you would mind sharing with us, for the audience, most of them are listening to this, some vocal warm-ups just for the audience at home, just so they know what to do when they.
Well, the most funny one, it might cut out on Zoom, but it's like a lip roll.
What's that?
That's it. It's where you like take your hands, you push up your cheeks, and you go.
Okay.
I don't know if they cut out on Zoom though.
Well, let's try describing that for people who are just listening.
In case it cut out.
Yeah, so
it's
you put
like your hands on your cheeks and you push up the meat of your cheeks and you blow the air.
Okay.
Kind of like a raspberry, but it engages the vocal cords and it's a double adduction exercise. So you adduct in your vocal cords and at your mouth. So it's a really great warm-up. It's good to do in the morning when you have morning voice, and it's good to do especially on Sunday mornings because lots of worship leaders have to warm up at like 6 a.m. It's a good one. It's a good exercise.
That's good. That's good stuff right there. Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. Any other warm-ups you can show us?
Oh, well, I'm at my keyboard right now. You want me to play a scale? It's a more complicated one, but this one goes, if you go 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 go. That's a nice complicated one. Okay. Can you do it, Isaiah Brown?
Nah.
Nah. He goes nah.
Yeah. Not while we're recording, but yeah, maybe later I'll say that.
Okay, all right. You hear that, guys? You have to get the exclusive recording to get Isaiah singing a vocal warm-up.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay, all right. Yeah, but great to hear from you today. You mind telling us a bit more about yourself, where you're from, and can you describe what your life was like back in the high school days?
Oh, in the high school days, we're going far back, huh? So in high school, I was homeschooled, but my parents are the pioneers that they are, and they started a school so they didn't have to do high school by themselves. So I was the first graduating class of Heart Academy, which is the school that my parents founded, and the guinea pig, as I am the oldest, and so, we're always the guinea pigs. and my graduating class was about 30 people, so super small. We all got super close, and we thought, we're graduating high school. It's gonna be so great after high school, and then, you know how that goes. It's totally different. Sometimes it goes right into college, but that excitement. But I didn't go away to college. I stayed home and did junior college. So I actually did online school first. So anyways, it was good days. It was good days. Senior year was really good.
Nice. So what made you want to go to junior college?
Well, first I did online school, which what the promise was that you would graduate sooner, right? But I ended up hating that. I actually really love interactive classes. And so I went to junior college instead to save money. So my plan was to transfer to San Diego, or sorry, not San Diego, San Jose State.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
And how was life like growing up in San Jose?
It was good. Um, like I said, my parents are very pioneer people. So we were joking, right? We're both PKs, but I'm the principal's kid. So, but grew up doing a lot of ministry. My cousins are here. I have altogether there's 9 of us, and we're all super close. Our family, and I mean, I guess the only other place I can compare it to is San Diego, which is I lived there for the last 5.5 years. So San Jose was diverse and lots of tech people here, lots of engineers, lots of really smart people. Um, I grew up on the east side, so there's like a lot of Vietnamese, Hispanic, Filipino. I'm half Filipino, so yeah, there's a lot of diversity here. So that's really cool.
Awesome. And when you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, so the first thing I wanted to be was a vet because I loved dogs. I had this little dog book and it was like all the breeds of dogs. And then I had a horse one too, all the breeds of horses. And I would like bookmark my favorite types of animals, like my favorite. So yeah, I wanted to be a vet. I'm
Okay.
not a vet.
Oh, okay. What's your favorite animal?
I would say dogs and horses still.
Okay. All right. Nice. Cool. Cool. So I hear that you went to this vocal coach sort of program that you went through. How did you know that you wanted to go through that as opposed to going through the normal college route?
University. Well, yeah, actually, if we go back to high school, when I was in high school, I started singing, and I think it was about 13 or 14. And I had a mentor kind of step into my life and say, she was the worship leader at my church at the time. And she said, hey, like, you want to take lessons from me, and then, you can kind of half trade. You can work for me, and the lessons will be discounted. And so I said, yeah, I'd love that. And I became her personal assistant. And so it started this mentorship relationship that is really rare and more like an apprenticeship, I would say. Like, I learned how to cook with her. I learned how to paint. I painted her house. I detailed her car. I walked her dogs. I filed her not quite her bills, but I filed like her music books and like filed a lot of things. So I learned a lot from her in that sense, and then also was trained up in music, vocals and piano. And when I was 18, she said, you can certify in this program that will allow you to teach. And I said, okay, why not? I have nothing else to do. I'm 18. I graduated. Like I said, all my friends went to college and I stayed home, and I'm like, I'm so bored. And I was like, why not? So I started teaching, and that certification process doesn't exist anymore, but it was like, what, like 12 years ago or something like that. And it it was, you had to teach in front of a instructor, like a master teacher. They taught your students to see how you were doing, and then you had to take a written test and go to 2 trainings a year. Um, so that's the program that I certified in.
Okay. Sounds like a lot of stuff going on there. Detailing the car and all that reminds me of Mr. Miyagi, just,
Yeah, totally.
yeah, getting some free labor from Daniel LaRusso. But that's a
Yeah, that's
story
true.
for
Yeah.
another day. But can you recall a season of having to learn new skills or adapt to your environment to survive?
Well, detailing a car car was definitely me adapting.
Nice.
um, yeah, there's that. And then I would say when I moved to San Diego, and that was the first time I had moved out. I moved to San Diego, and I had no job. I mean, I didn't really have any money. I All I had was like my business skills that I had acquired teaching lessons in San Jose, but nobody knew who I was over there. So I had to start from scratch. I drove Lyft and Uber for maybe 2 years, and just kind of supplemented my income that way. I was building another business at the time, a travel club business, um, that was around building teams and building um, like sales skills. And so I learned a lot as I was kind of like adapting to being on my own and paying rent and, you know, just learning a lot, being broke, surviving. So, yeah, it was definitely a lot of adapting.
Nice. At what point were you able to go from not doing Lyft and Uber and just focusing on your vocal coaching job?
Like I said, probably about 2 years in, I finally built enough clients to kind of sustain me. And I mean, it's so like crazy how many people like lined up to help me at that time and support me. Like there was a lady who certified in the same program I was in that I met literally right before I moved, and she gave me a ride from LA, which was where one of the trainings was, to San Diego, and she said, "Hey, if you ever move here, like you can rent out of my studio." And so I did. So that was a huge support. I had a studio to teach out of, and then she put me on her website, so she would funnel clients to me. So it's kind of, I'm kind of amazed like how many like people were lined up to support me. And then I started worship leading at my church and different things like that. So about 2 years.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
what would you say made you want to start that business? It sounds like it happened really organically.
Um. Yeah. I love to sing and to play. I led worship kind of like my senior year of high school. Became the main worship leader at my church, and um, I was like, well, I'm going to continue learning for this, avenue of my life. I might as well teach it. Teaching, when you teach something, you learn it better. So that's kind of just how I decided to live my life. It's just like, okay, might as well go for it and learn along the way.
Awesome. So, what are your goals for the future of your business?
Yeah. So it's been a few years since I started it. And in 2020, last year, I had about 25, 30 students. So that's a lot of students. I mean, and I was driving all over San Diego, I up to North County, down to East County, like it was all over the place. And I was so tired, but I was like, oh man, my income's going up. Like I'm killing myself, but like it's worth it because I have all this income now and I can finally pay my taxes and, all this stuff. And half of my clientele dropped off at the beginning of COVID. And I'm so grateful for the people who chose to stay. And I think they were really blessed by staying because they continued in their journey. But yeah, I had a moment where I was like, uh, it's a good thing that I had just decided a month before the lockdown that I was going to go online and build my business online, even though I had no idea what I was doing. Again, God put someone in my life who was basically featured on Forbes magazine. She's a business coach to millionaire entrepreneurs. Like she's amazing. Her name's Shanda Sumter, and she like brought me into her program. So that decision was a huge investment financially, but this decision has like catapulted me into a whole different direction for my business. And this year was hard. Like it was pretty rough financially and like emotionally and in so mentally in so many ways. And so yeah, I'm just thankful that I made that decision before the lockdown, because I almost backed out. I almost backed out right when the lockdown happened. Um, I suddenly had to pay double rent, so my financial obligations just went up, and I'm so glad I stuck it out. Like when I don't know if you've read the book The War of Art. So the War of Art is about resistance that comes up when you decide to create something. And in the book, it said, well, basically, when you decide to create something, there will be resistance. And so I viewed all of that as resistance to like my new creation that I was going to, move forward in. And so luckily I had that mindset, but I almost backed out. Like it's pretty crazy. So I guess to answer your question, all of that to say, I like featuring the journey, I guess. But all that to say, I'm going online. I'm creating a lot of content, building an email list. Um, yeah, creating funnels into my business right now. Really focused on that.
Yeah. And I like what you said about being surrounded by mentors to help you build your business. Can you think of a situation where you felt like you were in their shoes? You were the mentor that got to surround someone who wants to possibly go in this direction as well?
Yeah, actually, just today. So my teacher has another client or another student who is here in San Jose. My teacher moved to Utah, and I'm in her studio right now, which I'm super thankful for. Like right when I moved back to San Jose, she left, and I got to take over the space with another teacher, and she's in her like early 20s. And today we just met on Zoom and talked about how to get business leads, because both of us are in the position to where we're wanting to onboard like 10 more clients. I don't know how many she wants, but mine is like 10 more clients. And so we talked about strategy for creating leads for our business together. And so I told her, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm calling different churches, talking to worship leaders. Um, I'm on thumbtack.com and lessons.com, and you pay for leads there. So there's that. And so anyways, it's like, I think a lot of people could think, oh, what if she calls the church that I want to call and like be super selfish with those leads? But it's like, no, like the more you give away, like the more like generous you are, the more you can share and collaborate and receive too. One of my mentors said, like, whatever you're like looking to do or receive, like give that to people, and you will like find yourself receiving, not in some like weird gimmicky way. It's just like people who are generous, like it's cool to surround yourself with people who are generous, because that you in turn like start to let go of the fear of holding on to things or holding on to leads or whatever it is. And like when you let go of it, you can actually start to serve people and give. So yeah, that was literally just today, so that was fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what are two tips that you gave her?
Well, I just said, I'm here to support you on your journey, whatever that looks like. um I don't know if I gave her any tips. She's a pretty smart girl, so she already was like, hey, I feel like I'm doing too much, I need to step back. I'm waiting for God to lead the way, all these things. And I said, hey, just know that preparing is okay. Like she's wanting to record her original album. I'm doing that right now. I said, hey, like there's no shame, or like um there's nothing wrong with preparing, but like don't hide with your album stuff. Like don't stop, because she's like, I think I need to focus on business. I was like, yes, but don't stop with your creativity, because it's all the same. all the same thing. Like when you create and give, you can find leads, for example. That's what we were talking about. So I don't know if that's advice, but that I was just like, hey, you could do it faster than I did. Like I was so concerned with money. Like here I am at 30, like, oh my gosh, I was 24 and I wanted to do the album thing, but then I got stuck in the money, I got stuck in trying to survive, and then I started hiding because I felt I wasn't good enough and blah, 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 blah. Like once you stop taking action on something, like the fear, it's very easy for the fear to take hold of your life. And 5 years later, you're like, what did I do? So, yeah, I guess that was my advice. Don't hide, keep going, take action on your goal. Even if you're focused in somewhere else, like keep taking action in that area.
Awesome. And speaking of advice, I thought we'd go into a topic of dating, if you'd be cool with that. So,
Okay.
Funny enough, that's the way how we met each other. Shout out to the Hinge app. So, hence the dating at the moment and all that. But how about I name a dating app and you tell me if you found it to be successful or not?
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Tinder. How's your experience on that one?
Oh, you know what? I have never been on Tinder, but my discipler back in San Diego, she met her husband through Tinder.
Oh, dang.
And they're married after, I don't know how long it's been. 5 years? 5 years now? They have a kid. So
wow.
I guess I'm not opposed to Tinder. I liked other apps better.
Okay. How about Bumble?
Bumble. Ugh, I don't like Bumble.
Really? Why not?
It's too much work.
Oh, okay.
Because I have to actually sort through a lot of people to pick who I'm initiating, because the girl initiates first. So, and there's so many people on Bumble.
There are?
There's a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, me personally, I didn't find it that helpful.
Yeah. With all these dating apps, I found that I don't know if I'm using them wrong, but I always end up with expiring a free trial, and it's trying to charge me per month. And I'm like, no. So I just delete it and I look for a free dating app. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I like the free ones. I don't like paying for it. Although I did pay for Bumble at one point just to like see what it was like for, I think when you pay for it, oh yeah, you can see the guys who like you. On Bumble, the free version, you can't see who likes you until you swipe on them as well. And I kind of I like to like look through who likes me. That way I don't have to look through the profiles that don't even like me. So yeah, that's my experience with Bumble. But I'm sure, some people it works.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Christian Mingle.
Did not like Christian Mingle.
What happened there?
I don't know. I got bored. It's like crickets. Nobody really responded, and I didn't really like anybody.
Okay. That's how my pastors met.
Oh, really? Maybe. When did they meet, though?
It was a while back.
It was a while back. See, Christian Mingle was cool, I heard, back in the day, and then, like, now, I don't like it.
Hey, Christian Mingle, if you want to be a sponsor, I still think you're cool today.
Oh,
even though I don't personally use your website because, it doesn't apply to me at the moment. But, feel free to sponsor the Catch Up After College podcast. But let's move on to the next one. How about Hinge?
I love Hinge. I have met more quality people on Hinge, even though you get less people liking you. It's less overwhelming for me, and like the people I've met there are more quality. I think actually, how many guys have I been out? I haven't been out with that many in the span of 2 years, but like maybe like 5 or 6 guys, and all but one was from Hinge. So, and they were all pretty quality. sort of, mostly. None of them stuck until recently, but
Hey.
hey, but they were more quality than the people I was getting on other apps. So,
Okay. So in the end, it sounds like Hinge wins the
oh yeah,
app
hands
battle.
down. Oh yeah,
Okay. Now let's
yeah.
bring on another layer. How has dating been in the COVID season? How have things changed from what they used to look like before?
Okay, well, I think since COVID, I went on dates with 3 people. I would say, um, this is gonna sound funny, and maybe we've talked about this, but I think with my boundaries, like physical boundaries, it's much better to try and do more public things, even though it's very tempting to just be very like at people's houses.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I found that like more difficult to keep my boundaries
Mm,
when we're just like I'm going over a guy's house or something like that.
yeah.
um it was harder to find something else to do because everything was closed. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I just have to go over his house, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot more intimate. And so um that's something that I found as a girl, like going into the dating scene. And like I think I went over um a guy's house too early, and
Mm-hmm.
that was really it's like, whoa, it's kind of like a wake up call. Because I
Yeah.
before COVID, it was like I was always just doing public things with them for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my tip. If you
Okay.
if you want to keep more physical boundaries.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense for sure. And what's the importance of having a list of what you're looking for when dating?
Um, you know, that's interesting. I think when I was in high school, I was told to make a list. And then I got to college and I was like, nobody fits this list. I'm going to throw it out. And then um, I would go in and out of looking at the list. And I think what I've come to the conclusion of, I did a leadership course over the the end of 2020. And I just kind of got out of a dating relationship. And it was really hard not to go back, but I knew that it wasn't the right fit for me. And what my coach in the program said, I want you to write out your vision for what your future relationship gets to look like. And I wrote out that vision, and that other guy just he didn't fit into it. Like it, no matter the feelings that I had for him, like it wouldn't have worked because that's not my vision for my life. And, I would say having a vision for your future relationship is much more important than a list.
Mm, nice.
That's what I would say.
Okay, cool. And speaking on COVID a bit, we've been going back and forth on that one. In what ways did it affect your business for the better and for the worse?
Yeah, well, I kind of touched on it before, but for the worst would be like half my clientele was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that impacted my finances. Um, However, the positive is that again, I had made the decision to do something different already, and it just confirmed that yeah, I need to shift and adapt to where even if we go all online or um, something happens in our economy or whatever, I'm good. I always have leads coming in. I always have a community that I've developed. I already have like a place that I've fostered as a community. And so no matter where I am in the world. So that was a positive for sure.
Nice. And do you
Yeah.
prefer video sessions or in-person sessions, or a little half and half?
You know, in person is always better for
Mm-hmm.
lessons. and relationship, I've found.
Hmm.
But as far as flexibility, it's nice to have online as like the thing that you do, because you can be anywhere in the world doing online. So I don't know, I'm torn. I I think I would like to mostly be online if like the process and like the learning works well. Um but yeah, in person is always better. I still say that.
Nice. And I think we're finally coming out of this COVID season, but thinking of 2021, and you're talking about vision a bit too, not just for your business, but for, all spheres of life. What's the vision for 2021, Jess Eva Allen?
2021. Okay, well, I did my quarterly goals at the beginning of the year. My first quarterly goal, which is like January to March, right? We're in the last coming up days, was to make 30 intimate connections with um, not just dating, but dating and my email list, which is something I'm fostering, like making relationship and connection with those people. Um, and with friends at church, because I moved recently, so I'm at a new church. Um, yeah, and so really prioritizing connection and fostering relationship. And then this next season is about generating leads. So I have a 21-day summit coming up with speakers. That's why I was talking to the lady in Berlin this morning. I'm doing a 1-day live event where people can come in, hear speakers, and ask questions, Q&A. I'm doing a webinar series and a challenge. And I'm also going to be doing like a referral program, kind of posting on my Facebook and different things like that. So uh, going to referrals first, and then actually have a funnel to create more email list connection growth in that area. So that's the next quarter. And then after that, my focus will shift toward finishing my EP that I've been working on for 2 years. um I met with my producer last week, and I'm meeting with my coach, doing like lyric songwriting and changing some things up. So yeah, I did a Kickstarter back in December and raised about $4,000 for that. Working with my producer, um, maybe paid for half of the project. It's pretty crazy when you're doing it full out, hiring the musicians. But yeah, so that's the third quarter. And then the fourth quarter, I'm not really sure what's going to happen. Maybe focus back on
Your birthday?
business. Yeah, my birthday's in that quarter. Um, so yeah, that's 2021. 2021. That's my goals.
Awesome. And for me, knowing you personally, I know you do a lot of stuff. How and when do you usually recharge?
I hang out with you.
Hey,
Pretty much. No, I mean that's my weekends right now, right? Because we're kind of long distance, like an hour away. So um, we've been seeing each other on the weekends when we can. Um, I go to church on the weekends. I it's been nice moving back in with my family, because there's always something going on. Like, I'm living with my nephew right now. He's 2 and he's running around, and he like yeah, he's got a lot of energy. There's always something to do. Or my dad's watching a movie and I'll go join him. Or um yeah, like I've been finding less alone time in this season, but I seem to be doing okay.
yeah. But would you describe yourself as an extrovert or sort of in the middle or
Well,
introvert?
I would say this season has shown me I'm a little bit more extroverted. I always thought I was an introvert, like for a while, because
Hmm.
I'm just like not as loud as most the extroverts in the room.
Hmm.
Like, there's usually stronger personalities. I
Hmm.
would have considered myself more like a shy, quiet person. But in this season of COVID, like at the beginning of COVID, I couldn't see anybody and I was super sad. And that was one of the reasons why I moved back home, because I was just teaching online, staring at my computer all day. And I was
Hmm.
like, this is depressing. I
Hmm.
can't do this. So maybe extroverted, I guess,
Hmm.
but in the middle, because
Okay.
I write songs by myself.
How do you find that balance of, because you're doing what you love for work, but you noticed that the relationship side was dwindling a bit while you're living in SD. How do you balance your relationships, friendships, family, and work?
Yeah, well, obviously it looks a little different living at home now. Um, when I was in SD during COVID, are you saying during COVID?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, when I was in SD during COVID, I would Marco Polo people a lot. If you guys know that app. Um, Marco Polo can sponsor this podcast.
Hey.
So yeah, I had Marco Polo people. I I would go to the beach a lot with my roommate because we were living together anyway. So we'd go to the beach. A lot of beach time at the beginning of COVID. I went shopping a lot.
Nice,
I
nice.
ate out a lot. Any excuse to get out. Yeah, I would say my summer budget for 2020 was not the most frugal, but at least I got out of the house and wasn't depressed. So there's that. And then since I've moved back home, I would say I come to the studio to work and then I go back home to relax. Like, I don't really expect to get work done at the house because of 2-year-olds running around, and there's always the dishes to do. Always, I mean, there's 6 people living in a 3-bedroom house. So we're like, there's always someone doing something. And my mom works from home. My sister doesn't work till 4 p.m. most days. So busy. So yeah, I'm thankful for this space for sure.
Awesome. So, thinking on the many different classes you've taken, which one stands out to you the most? Because I know you've taken a Dave Ramsey class, you've taken, is it HTL leadership class?
HCL,
Yeah, you've
hardcore
taken
leadership.
that. Yeah, so which one stands out to you and what's a lesson that you've learned?
You know, I would definitely say hardcore leadership definitely changed my life, as corny as that sounds, because there was so much stuff that came up in 2020. There's some lost relationships, just a lot of different loss actually, and there was a lot of grief going on. So I was processing a lot, and on top of that, I'm trying to grow my business to places I've never been before, and so that's scary. I have all the doubts of I'm not enough, I'm not extroverted enough, I'm not, talented enough, all these doubts that come. And that program really solidified the fact that, hey, what do you want? First of all, sometimes we don't even stop to ask the question, like, what do you want? Right? What do you want? Okay. And are you prepared to pay the price? Because there's always a price to pay. Whether you don't do what you want or you do what you want, you either pay the price of not, not doing it, or you pay the price of the fear, the laziness, the comfort. Like, a lot of the stuff that I was dealing with was comfort, like not going after it because this is more comfortable. And so in those 2 areas, the grief and like processing the grief, and then also rising above all the fears and the grief. And grief is a funny thing. You go through like weird, very weird identity things with grief that I've found. But um yeah, like knowing like, hey, what do you want? Are you prepared to pay the price for it? Okay, here's some support, because we had to check in every day in the program, and we had a coach and different things. So are you are you ready to pay the price? And if so, we'll support you through the whole thing, all the breakdowns, all of the overwhelm, like not doing it alone. And like I also got very like vulnerable in the program, which is something that I struggle with. And so a safe place to be vulnerable and to let my walls down really helped me like catapult into this year. And let me, like, as you can tell, like I'm very driven right now. I'm not overwhelmed. Like, it's crazy. I would have been so overwhelmed. Like, I was so controlling of my business before, my relationships, like everything. Like, okay, I'm going to run out of energy because I'm more introverted than so and so. I'm going to run out of energy. I don't have energy for that. And I was very protective of me, because I was scared to get hurt and scared to fail and scared to be rejected. So that program really just solidified, like, what are you so scared of? And we went really deep into that. So anyways, yeah, that that was a huge program for me. And I'm doing a lot now. I'm creating content almost every day. I was so resistant to creating content. Oh my gosh, you don't even know. Like, I was like, I do not want to write that email. I do not want to write it. I don't want to. And I had to, I'm a completely different content creator now. So yeah.
Nice. Awesome stuff right there. And thinking way back, life expectations before and now after high school, how have they changed anyway?
Life expectations. Well, I would say I thought maybe I'd be married by now. There's that. I always wanted to get married and have a family. And I also, as I got older, found that I really liked my freedom. I didn't like working for people. And so, fun fact, I've never had a job. I've always worked for myself. And the one interview that I did do at Starbucks was terrible, like so bad.
Hey, Starbucks, if you want to be a sponsor, we love you. I work for you personally, got the Mug Award, partner of the quarter,
Yeah,
so yeah,
you're probably, yeah,
we love you here. But yeah,
much
continue.
better Starbucks employee than I would have made. Yeah, they got to the point in the interview where they were like, "Why do you want to work for us?" I was like, "I don't." So yeah, that was not the right answer. So yeah, that I didn't realize that I would love the freedom that business brings so much. I had no idea until I experienced it more and more. And even now, I mean, like even 4 months ago, before, well, maybe like 6 months ago, before the program I just went through, I would say I was super resistant still. I was very unsure. And now I know I'm a content creator, I'm an artist, so many things. I raised $4,000 in like a month. I was like, I'm a connector of people. Like, quick story. At the end of that program, I had made a commitment to make $30,000, however that came through. 2 weeks before I graduated the program, I still had $20,000 to make. And my coach just like was like, how committed are you? Are you prepared to look like silly? Are you prepared to let down your pride? So I called everyone I knew and I said, hey, these are the things I'm doing. I'm doing a free work, I'm doing a Kickstarter where I'm raising 13,000 auction on Facebook. I was doing a Facebook auction. I was like, I know it's been a while, or is the internet back? I know it's been a while, or like, I don't know, it's good to connect with you, but this is what I'm doing. I'm just saying if you wanted to support me in any way. And most people were like, oh yeah, I'll join the Facebook group. Oh yeah, can I give 50? Oh yeah, I have a friend who wants to come to the songwriting workshop. Can I pass on the info? I literally had to let down all my pride, let go of all the fear of rejection, and just do it. And I found out I'm a really good connector. Like, it was really fun. Like, I came alive in those 2 weeks where I thought I would run out of energy. And like, I made the 20,000 in 2 weeks. Ah,
Oh, snap moment. It's been a while, but I think you earned it.
thanks.
Yeah.
So all that to say, I would have never imagined that. But I have to thank the support that I had, because if I wasn't in the program, if I didn't have the coaching or support, I would not have made that 20,000. I would have been like, well, that was nice. I made 10,000. That's a lot, you know? And I had people to hold me higher, and stay in integrity, I think, was the big push there. You said you were going to do it. How committed are you? Are you going to stay in integrity? Okay, we'll support you. So yeah.
Nice. Awesome. So, wow, it's been doing a lot of stuff for sure. So, thinking on just life goals and stuff like that, what's the newest dream on the horizon for you? It doesn't have to be business specific, music specific, but just for Jess Eva Allen, what's the newest dream on the horizon?
Yeah, well, I would say definitely finishing my album slash EP, because that um that is something that I've been putting off for a long time, probably 10 years. I've been putting it off. And on account of fear of rejection and failing, procrastination. And that has been in my heart for like 10 years. So finishing that project, it's called The Unveiling. It's appropriate for an album that's been put off for 10 years. And yeah, it's unveiling like those songs that I've written that I've been hiding behind perfection, which is another way of avoiding. So I'm excited to see the growth that has happened as an account of releasing this album, because it means a lot of personal growth to me. It's really personal. So yeah, that is what I'm doing. And I would say the other thing is move out of my parents' house. Now that I've been there for over 6 months, I'm like, all right, that was cool. It was needed, necessary, and now it's not. So that would be nice.
Yeah, any Bay Area women out there who aren't crazy and are looking for a nice new roommate, just give her a shout out. Yeah, we'll make sure to tag her and all the podcast stuff. But yeah.
How are we gonna tell they're not crazy, Isaiah? How are we gonna filter this? What's our strategy here?
Yeah, you'll know. Just vibes. It's all about the vibes.
Just vibes.
It's just But,
yeah.
Yeah, I trust that you will
Good
figure
advice.
that out. But yeah.
Good advice.
But as we come to a bit of a close, are there any books, podcasts, or music or learning resources you recommend at the moment?
Yeah, well, that book, The War of Art, is really good. That has kept me through this year for sure, consistently pursuing what was on my heart. And the funny thing is, it's from a creative perspective. It's not really it's not even about business. It's from an artistic perspective, which is really cool. So there's that. And I have a free workshop coming up for either vocal technique and stage presence. I'm not sure which one. So there's that. And anything else? I haven't been listening to podcasts lately because I don't drive anymore. I haven't been listening to much podcasts or online books or anything like that. But I'd recommend reading your Bible. It's a good one.
I think that's the first time anyone's recommended that on the show.
A lot of wisdom.
But, yeah, you're like the 30th something guest.
Oh yeah.
But, it's all good. It's cool. We're getting there, progressing.
Yeah, I think someone was asking me like, "What spiritual book are you reading lately?" Because there's a lot, and I'm like, my Bible." Yeah, it's going pretty good. So, um, yeah, there's a lot of wisdom in there, and not perfect, but I attribute a lot of like beautiful things from my life to following a lot of wisdom in the Bible, and I'm thankful for that. Like, grateful. So, yeah,
Good
that's all
stuff.
I got.
That's good. That's good. And that we'll end it on this question. If there's one thing you could ask your future self, what would it be? If there's one thing you could tell your high school self, what would it be?
Okay, one thing to ask my future self and one thing to tell my high school self, right?
Yep. Hmm.
Okay, so my future self, man, I even think back to like 6 months ago, it was like so different than now. If I could have only worked through all the resistance a little faster, that's kind of like if I could have gone, forward in time to now from then, that would have been cool. Um, but I think my future self, I would ask them, her, I would ask her, um, I don't know. I'm stuck.
Hmm.
I'm like so in the present right now. That's weird because I'm a very future oriented person.
Okay. Maybe like how many kids you got, or know where you're gonna live, how much is in the bank account.
No, because then I feel like I'm tied down to doing that. And
Mm,
it's all about the journey to get there, right? So I wouldn't do that.
maybe make some bets on some sports games. What were the
Yeah, I might
scores?
do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the whole plot of Back to the Future
Is
too.
that
But
your answer?
yeah, get a sports
Is that your
almanac.
answer, Isaiah?
Yeah, I think that's good. Use the money for good, but yeah. But yes, that's my answer. But I guess your answer is more
Aha.
important. But maybe we'll skip to the high school part.
Oh,
What is
okay.
one thing you would tell your high school self?
Um, I would say probably along the lines of what I've been talking about that I've been working through is like don't don't let the the doubts define the action that you take, you know. Um just because you don't feel enough or capable or like it's, you know, important to other people should not define the action that you take on the vision that you have. That's what I would say.
Awesome. Good stuff, Jess. Thanks for coming on. And of course, I got to encourage you before you go. I believe that as you step out in faith, that God's just going to continue to take you to higher places, and that, of course, you're going to face new challenges, but God, He's right there in it. And He's already there in the future with you. And all you got to do is trust in Him, and He's going to light the way for you. So, yeah, just keep trusting Him, and He's going to take you to the right places.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's all
Thank
good.
you. Thank you, Jesus.
All right, cool, cool. Anything you want to promote before we head out?
um well, yeah, I have a free workshop coming up for vocals and stage presence. So that'll be fun. Vocal technique and style. And then I have a 21 days, or it's going to be like half that, 11-day summit coming out with 21 speakers about, oh, it's called Express Yourself, how to create connection, freedom, and joy for you and your family through creative artistic expression.
Nice.
So that one's really, it's going to be an awesome series. Totally worth um, listening to because of the pandemic going on. Like, people are so disconnected and um like even like disconnected from playing outside, like disconnected in so many ways. Like, this event is like really all about connection and how do you create connection um as a holistic way, in a holistic way, using creative expression. So that's coming up, and we have a live version of that coming up on April 26th.
Awesome. Hopefully
Yeah.
this episode it'll be out by then. But
Yeah.
how do we find all this content? Website, social media?
Yes. Yeah. I would say friend me on my business website, which would be Jess E. Allen. Jess E. Allen Studio, actually, for Facebook and Instagram. Been posting content on there and kind of jump in a few times a week, giving some tips and also just like mental health. I don't know, mental health, but like confidence building, and how do you step out, like using your voice, and how do you step out like in the fullness of who you are, because creativity really brings that out of people, and that's something I love. So
Awesome. Good stuff. Well, thank you once again for coming on, and hope you have a great night.
yeah, thanks for having me. That was fun.
It's all good. And for everyone else, hope you have a great night as well, or day, whatever time you're listening to this. But until next time, as we're maturing, we're going to keep learning, stirring up, and chasing after what our Creator created us to do. So have a good one, everyone.